Hey, what's up everyone? Coach Danny here. So today we're going to be talking about some solo drills you can do from home. So in this edition, we're going to actually do something for the kiddos. So a lot of times some people watch our videos and either you're a parent has a son or a daughter that does jiu-jitsu and you want to help them. So here I'm using a grappling dummy. You can just put a punching bag, regular heavy bag will work as well, or even put some pillows or a big sofa cushion, whatever it is, or you yourself lie down and play the part. All right, so now we're just going to go through some of the basic positions. All right, because sometimes when 4, 5, 6-year-old kids get into the basic jiu-jitsu positions, they don't know how to position themselves correctly using positioning of your legs and feet and whatnot. So we're going to look at those basic positions today and help you guys out. All right, so the first position we're going to cover, and as always before we get started, is looking at your heavy bag. In this case, my grappling dummy here, looking where head and feet positioning would be situated, right? So if this is the upper body and this is the lower body, we'll need that into that context to understand where we're going to position ourselves. So first is going to be the side control position. So side controls, there's about 3 things I want you guys to remember. Number 1 is about positioning of your legs or your knees. So in this case, if I'm in the side here on the grappling dummy, I want to have one of my knee right here connected where the hip is, okay? And now the other knee is going to be connected where the shoulder is, such as this, okay? And now it's important to remember from here that I want to have a wide base with my knees, all right? I don't want to have my legs stuck together as this. So I want to be into a tripod position. And remember, bottom knee where the hip and top knee where the shoulder, all right? So if this was the face, right here, okay? Now, the second thing is going to be positioning my body weight. So I'm going to go chest on center mass, so right to here, okay? So I'm going to bring my chest over the heavy bag's chest. And last but not least, the third part is going to be the arms. So I'm going to bring one arm underneath the head and the other arm, visualizing I'm bringing this underneath his arm. And now I'm going to clasp my hands together, and this is what we refer to as the side control. All right, so once again from this angle now, so remember 2 things, right? Wide base with your knees and stuck against the opponent, or in this case, the punching bag. So bottom knee at the hip, top knee at the shoulder. Bring your upper body on the top. Now bring your arm behind the head. Now the other arm, visualize the arm is here, bring it underneath their arm and put your palms together as such. Now when you're here, make sure not to lean over the heavy bag. Always bring your hips low so that way there you stay grounded and you're not going to get rolled over. That is the first position, that's the side control. Now we're going to look at the second most common position is the mount. The mounted position is when you're sitting on top of your training partner or your opponent in jiu-jitsu. So we're going to have 3 variations of the mount. So on a heavy bag here, the first one, right, sitting in the middle. So imagine this is the chest, the head is here, you're sitting as such. Now you want to remember a couple of things. Number 1 is going to be to squeeze your legs together. So your knees are going to be right here against the rib cage, nice and tight. Your feet are tucked in right behind their waist. And now you're going to bring your hands on top of their shoulders as such, all right? And it's almost like you're sitting onto their hip, very heavy, and that's the middle mount. Now if I turn to the side as such, as you can see here, I would be sitting just over their hip, and now I'm pushing with my hands onto the mat. The second variation, sometimes we go a little bit higher. That's referred to as the high mount. So we just slide a little bit higher up, and now we're squeezing underneath the armpits, and the same thing. This would be applied to do certain submission techniques, for example. And the third option of our mount is from the center here. What we're going to do is imagine their legs are just here behind you. Now you're going to do a sprawl. So by having your hands to the mat, we're going to bring our chest to their chest and sprawl our legs out. And look, behind us, we're going to imagine we're putting 2 hooks. So both feet are going to go underneath their feet, and then we're just going to clasp on like we had 2 hooks, or we call these grapevines in jiu-jitsu. And this creates for a very heavy mount position. So once again, right in the middle right here, squeezing against their body. Second, we can go a little bit higher, going underneath the armpits into a higher mount position. And last but not least, sometimes we just want to control. So we're going to go down, very heavy like Superman. And then from here, sprawl our legs out and make 2 hooks. Sometimes we'll even cross our feet underneath. All right, the next position we're going to look at is imagine you have somebody's back. All right, we call this the back control. So now with your punching bag, you imagine that they're facing in this direction. That's the front part of their body, and this is the back. So what we're going to do from here, we're gonna put the heavy bag onto us, and look, you wanna imagine you have two hooks. So you're gonna bring your legs around their waist and bring two hooks onto their lap, all right? Now from here, imagine that your head, not imagine, actually your head has to be higher than theirs. So what we're gonna do here, look, imagine the arms are right here, go one under the arm and the other one over the arm, right? So either side, sometimes this one's gonna be over the arm, this one's gonna be underneath the arm. Now every time you're here, we know we have to practice what we call the seatbelt position, all right? So once again, we'll start from here, grab your bag, make the hooks. From here, choose a side, left or right. I'll go facing you guys. We're gonna go one over the shoulder and one underneath. And from here, look, we're gonna hold our wrist. This is referred to as a seatbelt position. And that is the back control. Now, very similar to the back control, especially using a grappling dummy, is gonna be the closed guard position, all right? Now you wanna visualize that the opponent is facing you, all right? So from here, we're gonna have this guard position, but this time, we're gonna cross our ankles. Okay, so from here, what you're gonna do is always visualize that you have maybe the person's collars, you're gonna have access to their arms, but for here, I want you guys to understand that when you have the closed guard position, make sure you pinch your knees nice and tight, and don't forget, cross your ankles behind their back, where their hips are, and from here, you can also just hold the head, control, right, wrap the arms, go for collar chokes, and whatnot. But the closed guard can't be as such. It always has to be locked in before you start your techniques. Next up, we also have a transition from the side control position, which we refer to as the Kesa Gatame position. So from here, if you were in side control with your knees tucked in against the bag and you're holding the neck, it's very easy to transition right away by posting one leg out and kicking one leg inside. That's the sit-out position. And now if the face was here, now you have an underhook on one side. This is a great position of control. Lets you see a little bit more openings. So look, just from here, we have our side control. We switch and kick one leg out. This is where his upper body is. And now we can practice this very comfortably on the heavy bag. And now we can start to combine all of these positions from side control to Kesa back onto our knees once again, and always practicing those hip motions required for good jiu-jitsu. All right, last but not least, we're gonna look at the knee on belly. So very similar to the side control, this time we're gonna be sitting onto their belly. All right, knee on belly. So what I want you guys to do is place your shin across the opponent's chest, all right? In this case, the punching bag. And now bring your heel right against it, okay? Now, take your opposite leg and post it out. Now, a lot of times common mistakes is we tend to bring our knee to the mat, and that's wrong. We always want to post our leg out, good balance, as well as good pressure. You don't want to be sitting too high up. You want to be sitting low. And now from here, your hands are ready to attack the collars, control on the mat, or onto the chest, all right? Even submission holds such as arm locks. And this is called the knee on belly. All right, guys, so there you have it. Basic positions for BJJ. Now, if you have a heavy bag, use that, just put it onto the floor. If you do have a grappling dummy like we do, use that as well. If not, just grab some pillows. You can even do it solo on the mats itself. Just make sure that every time you do your positioning, you're visualizing exactly where you are, where they are, and how you're doing your techniques. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.